What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown for UFC Vegas 28. We have Jairzinho Rozenstruik going against Augusto Sakai. And on paper, yeah, the card is probably not that great, but I think it's a great card for betting. 14 fights, lots of spots that really stick out, and lots of spots that feel like could be potential traps. We'll talk about all that. And I really like my spots this week. I feel like I really picked my spots. I feel like I passed on the fights that should be passed on, and I'm feeling pretty good. We'll talk about the bets I have. I have about 5, 6, 7 bets. We'll talk about all those. We'll talk about some of the spots I was looking at as well. And as always, going to be talking about the fights strictly from a betting perspective. If you do want a further in-depth breakdown on why I like which fighter, on why I'm picking each fighter, you can check out my full card breakdown and prediction video I posted earlier in the week, and also did a live stream as well. And if you have nothing going on 1 hour prior to the fights, check out the live stream at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Going to be going over just some final thoughts. Maybe I added a bet. I'm not sure if I did or not. But there's some spots I'm looking at, so we'll see. Going to be talking some live movement. Just chatting up with you guys 1 hour prior to when the fights start, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So check it out. Lastly, I do want to say it's early in the month. Now's a great time to sign up on the Patreon, $10 a month or $2.50 per week. Adding a ton of new things to it. Shout out to Uncle Weezy with the advanced stat model. I have the advanced stats on there. I showed it in my breakdown video earlier in the week. Also have the matchup template, which you take both fighters side by side to get all the stats and all that good stuff. And then you also get early access to the bets, beating a ton of line movement, especially this week with the week off. Beat a ton of line movement, which I always do like doing. And then just access to Discord. Just lots of great stuff, lots of great content. $10 a month. People always ask me, how can I donate to you? What's your PayPal, Cashapp, all that. I think the best way is just, sign up on the Patreon. It helps me out, and it helps you out as well. With all that out of the way, though, we'll get into it. Going to be kind of quick with these. We have 14 fights, so lots to get over. I do want to cover my bets, most importantly, though. But Jordan Levitt, Claudio Puelos, this is a fight where you shouldn't be betting this fight. A lot of people are out there parlaying Jordan Levitt. I recommend not doing that. But if you did, best of luck to you. I'm picking him to win. It's just, there's so many question marks in this fight. Like Puelos, we haven't seen him fight in a couple of years. He's very, very young. I believe he's 25 years old. And you got to imagine he is making some improvements, training at a really good camp as well. Brown belt in BJJ. So on paper, yeah, Puelos probably is the better grappler, brown belt. Levitt's a purple belt, I do believe. But you take a look at their grappling, and I think Levitt probably is the better grappler. But still, he could make improvements in those 2 years. As far as a pick, I'll pick Levitt, I guess. I absolutely hate this fight. I would never bet it in a million years. But I just think you should pass this fight. Even all the props just do not look great to me. I don't want to mess around with the under. I don't want to mess around with the over. This is just a pass on this card. And there's a couple of these fights where you should just be passing. And this, I believe, is one of them. If I was to take a shot, it probably would be the underdog shot on Puelos. But even then, I just don't want to get myself involved. Sean Woodson uses Zalal. I do have a play here. I have a play on Zalal plus 188. 1 unit on that. And the line has came down a little bit ever since then. I bet it late last week, I think even 2 weeks ago. But yeah, got a good price there on a fight that I feel like should be closer to a pick'em. And you take a look at Twitter and all that. A lot of people agree that that this line's off. It's just not many people are taking the shot on Zalal. I thought there'd be more people jumping on here. I think an interesting aspect is the ground game of Zalal. He can wrestle. He can get takedowns. Brown belt in BJJ. I think he has a significant grappling advantage. Woodson on paper, very good takedown defense, 77%, 78%. But he can be taken down. And if he is taken down, I think Zalal is going to have a very good opportunity to either take his back, get some control time. Don't want to say sub him, but just, it's going to be a close fight. I think the striking, you got to favor Woodson, the reach, the output. But Zalal's it's not a big discrepancy in the striking. You got to favor Woodson, but still, Zalal's not a terrible striker. But I do like Zalal here as an underdog pick. 1 unit plus 188. I'll take that shot all day. On a fight that I do think is 50-50, on a fight where I think Zalal could have some success in the grappling, I'll take the shot there. But I see a lot of people picking Woodson. That's fine. I don't really see anybody betting Woodson, which you probably really shouldn't in a fight that's this close. But if a fight's that close, I'm going to take a shot on the dog all day. Man on Fioro, Tabitha, Richie. I bet Fioro against Moroz. The fight is now off. I'm not going to be betting Fioro at minus 570, minus 650 on some books. I think she wins. The short notice of Richie. I think Richie, she's actually decent, but she's fought nobody. I know Fioro's not fought anybody as well, but Richie, she black belt in BJJ, black belt in judo. It's just she's a 115er coming up to 125 on short notice. Fioro is going to be much bigger. Saw the weigh-ins, and Fioro indeed does have a size advantage. Fioro has a massive striking advantage, and it's simple as if Richie does not get this fight down to the match, he's going to get dominated, probably knocked out. And honestly, I expect nothing less than Fioro coming out here and probably starching her in the first round, round and a half. But at the end of the day, it's women's MMA. Fioro is, unproven, untested. The minus 650, minus 600, I just don't really want anything to do with it. We've seen crazier things happen. We've seen Macy Barber lose as a minus 1,000. We've seen Maria Agapova lose as a minus 1,000. I just don't want to get involved in this fight at all. I was kind of thinking like the Fioro KO prop, and that's kind of what I'd go to if anything, minus 135. It's just, was kind of hoping to get it maybe closer to plus money. So pass here for me. If you're parlaying Fioro, I think that's fine. I think she wins. It's just not something I do personally. Yeah, I'll throw it in my Hail Mary, but as far as official play, I'm going to be passing here. Mason Jones, Alan Patrick. Mason Jones is minus 290. Patrick plus 260. I see some money coming in on Jones on other books. I see him at minus 350 on other books. And this is going to be my biggest play of the year. I have 3.5 units on Mason Jones, minus 245. I really like that line. Beat some line movement. I honestly expected the line to get a little bit wider, and we kind of do see it trending that way as the week goes on. I feel like by fight time it could be closer to the minus 350 on most books there, but did not see as much line movement as I thought I'd see. But really high on Mason Jones here. I really like his skill set. Black belt and BJJ. I think that's important to mention here. The reason I did not max bet it, because I was so close to max betting Mason Jones, is because the competition level is one thing. And the other thing is he can be taken down. But with that said, his get-up game is phenomenal. Very hard to get down. And Patrick, I do think he will get some takedowns in this fight. I just think Patrick's top control is horrible. And especially, he's 37 years old, 38 years old. He's going to land virtually nothing in this fight. Mason Jones, the striking is just night and day. I think he has a massive advantage. And I think once Jones touches Patrick's chin, I think Patrick's going down. Patrick gets wobbled, nowadays with anything that lands on him. It seems like Bobby Green wobbled him a couple times. Holtzman knocked him out. He's been knocked out in 2 of his 3 losses. I think Mason Jones does knock him out here. Jones inside the distance, minus 110, not horrible. KO plus 120, not horrible. But ultimately, I'm going pretty hard. I'm going pretty hard. Mason Jones, 3.5 unit bet, minus 245. It's going to be my biggest bet of the year. I need this to hit for a good night. But I do think he gets it done. I think Mason Jones is the real deal. Salikhov, Trinaldo. Salikhov, minus 215. Trinaldo is plus 195. One of the more popular dogs on the entire card, and I get it. This is a close fight. This is a fight that I want nothing to do with from either side, but I did see a prop that I thought was way off. Fight goes to decision, plus 142. I have 1 unit on it. It was on FanDuel Sportsbook. I don't know if it's still there or not, but yeah, that line's just off. On other books, it was like minus 130. Fight goes to decision, but I do think this fight probably goes to decision. Both guys low output. Both guys have never been knocked out in a combined like something crazy, like close to 50 fights. You got to think. Trinaldo has like 36 fights, and he's never been knocked out, which is very impressive. The guy's a chin. Salikhov has been submitted twice. Trinaldo has been submitted twice, but I just don't really see that happening on either side. But I'll take Salikhov for the win, I guess. It's just I really do like the fight goes to decision. I just see basically nothing happening all fight. Maybe somebody lands a shot here and there, but I just see it being low output, not much going on, going to decision, which, plus 142. I'll take that shot all day. So 1 unit on that. All right, Tanner Boser, earlier Latifi. Another spot where everybody can agree that the line's off. And a lot of people are taking Boser as far as a pick, but I see, virtually nobody picking or betting Boser, which is understandable. This fight is very close. Latifi, I think he can get takedowns here, and I've seen Boser taken down, not in the UFC, but prior to the UFC, I've seen him taken down, and the dude's a fish out of water on his back. If Latifi can get takedowns, I think he can have some success. But yeah, I've seen Boser taken down and have absolutely nothing to offer. I don't know if he's made improvements, and that's why I'm not betting this fight. If I was to bet it, it'd be Latifi plus 150 or Latifi by decision, which is plus 340, which was like plus 500 earlier in the week. But I'm passing. I just don't want to get involved in this fight. Latifi, although I do think he has an advantage on the mat with the wrestling and all that good stuff, the volume is non-existent. The cardio is non-existent. It's just not something I'm going to deal with. I think this fight's, really, really close. I'll pick Latifi, but as far as the bet, I just don't want anything to do with this fight. Montana De La Rosa going against Ariana Lipski. De La Rosa minus 265. I bet her at minus 200. I have 2 units on it. Honestly, was close to making a little bit of a bigger play, but at the end of the day, this is women's MMA, and it is Montana De La Rosa. I know a lot of people think she sucks. They think she's horrible, but you got to look into it. She is making improvements. I just want to point out, like on Tapology, like 65% of people are taking Ariana Lipski as far as a pick, which, it's just insane to me because you take a look. If you look into the matchup at least a little bit, like you got to think that this is a phenomenal matchup for Montana De La Rosa going against Lipski, who has like a 45% takedown defense, who was taken down 2 times by Molly McCann, taken down a bunch of times in the UFC. But what really did it for me was getting taken down by Antonina Shevchenko, the bad Shevchenko, and getting dominated. I mean, Antonina looked like looked like Valentina out there, and she was just able to dominate Ariana Lipski on the mat. I think Lipski's takedown defense is horrible. I think Lipski's ground game is even worse. And De La Rosa, wrestling background, De La Rosa brown belt in BJJ. I think De La Rosa honestly makes it look easy. But then again, it's hard to trust De La Rosa. I get it. But man, I do think she should be around minus 300. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that statement. But if you look into the matchup at least a little bit, man, I mean, this line is fair. But I think it honestly could be even wider. And we do see it trending that way. I see some books where she's minus 280, minus 285. And I think that's fair. But ultimately, I did get her at minus 200, which I do like. Makwan Amarkani going against Camilla Kirk. Camilla Kirk is another public dog that it seems like everybody's on. And Makwan, minus 305, he opened up, and he's now minus 180. So yeah, a ton of money coming in on Kirk. It seems like everybody's betting this guy. I just don't understand. Honestly, like I think the line should be closer to the opener. I think level of competition is a big thing here. Amarkani has fought the much, much better level of competition, and really it's not even close at all. You take a look at Makwan's losses, Barbosa, Shane Burgos, and Arnold Allen. I think all three of those guys would finish Camilo Kirk within 2 rounds there. But yeah, Makwan Amarkani, it's hard. He's not high volume at all. He doesn't have a great gas tank. But in this fight, like these two guys have very, very similar skill sets. And I just think Amarkani, the skill gap is apparent between the two. Amarkani is going to be the much better wrestler. It's not even close. Amarkani is going to be the much better grappler, and it's not even close. And I know what you're saying. Camilo Kirk, he's a black belt. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. Some black belts are better than others, and I think Amarkani has a massive grappling advantage, black belt for Kirk or not. And I think Makwan probably does get him out of here, to be honest. Not planning on betting, Amarkani. Wasn't planning on playing him, but if the line keeps coming down, if I can get it at like minus 150, I'll take the shot. But this is a fight you probably shouldn't be betting on. I get the value with Kirk, all that. Similar skill sets. Amarkani, no gas tank. Amarkani, no striking. I get all the points, but you got to take a look at the skill gap between the two, and I think it's massive, to be honest. And then the level of competition is even more massive as well. So I'll take Amarkani. Not going to bet it unless the line does close even more, which maybe it does. We'll see. Tom Breese, Antonio Arroyo. This is a fight that you should not be betting on. Easiest pass on the card for me. 2 guys you'll want to look to fade. I just don't want to deal with it. I mean, I've bet both these guys before, and I just remember myself yelling at the TV screen for both of them, especially Arroyo. The guy's just not great. If we're talking skill for skill, Breese is the more skilled fighter by a significant margin, in my opinion. It's just you can't trust Breese. I mean, I don't want to call the guy a quitter, but we've seen times where it looks like, yeah, he kind of did quit in there. And he's getting finished in these fights, and fights he should be winning. You just can't trust him. You can't trust him. And as far as Antonio Arroyo, guy has 32% takedown defense. The guy has about 2 minutes of gas. So how can you bet either side here? I see people parlaying Drew Brees. I mean, best of luck. I guess, yeah, you probably should win, but I would never parlay Drew Brees or Tom Breese in my life. And then Antonio Arroyo, I see people taking the dog shot, which, I mean, I guess, but I just don't want to invest any money on this fighter or either fighter. Both guys are fades for me going against each other. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch, and I'm going to feel very good about not playing this fight. I'm going to feel very, very good about not playing this fight. Even like the under 2.5 fight doesn't go to decision. I think it does hit, but I just don't want to get involved. I don't want to get involved in this fight at all. I'll pick Breeze, though. I'll pick the better fighter. Dusko Todorovic going against Gregory Rodriguez. Yeah, another fight that Gregory Rodriguez is another dog that is very popular. We see a theme where a lot of these dogs are very popular. A lot of these dogs are getting bet on. Rodriguez, plus 110 right now. This line, I don't think it'll flip, but my goodness, it looks like it's trending that way for sure. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think someone's getting knocked out, though. Both guys have a ton of power. 90% finish rate for Dusko. 88% finish rate for Gregory. Both guys, chins are very questionable. Both guys, their striking defense is massively questionable. Todorovic doesn't play, doesn't have striking defense at all. His hands are down, chin's up in the air. Rodriguez, his striking defense is terrible himself, no head movement. So it's safe to say somebody's probably getting knocked out. I think the under 1.5 is solid. I didn't play it myself, but what I did do was, and I'm not one to really parlay props at all, unless I really do like a prop, and I really do like the fight doesn't go to decision, and I parlayed that with Leon Edwards next week. I know people hate when you do a parlay piece for this card and the next card, but I really like it. I mean, I already took a look into UFC 263. I was going to parlay Jamal Hill with Leon Edwards, but after taping it, I decided to pass. I think, parlaying Edwards with this fight doesn't get to decision is not a bad look. So I got the fight doesn't get to decision at minus 275 and Leon Edwards at minus 450 for a minus 150 total. 1.5 units on it. Nice little parlay, a nice little two-legger there. I'd be really shocked if this fight did go the distance. All right, getting into the next fight, we have Miguel Baeza going against Santiago Ponzinibbio. Another pass for me here. Another fight where I think Baeza wins. It's just I don't know where Ponzinibbio is at, and that's the big thing here for me. If it's the Ponzinibbio of 2017 or 2018 before the layoff, I think Ponzinibbio rolls here. It's just, is it that same Ponzinibbio? He's 34 years old. He dealt with a lot of things outside of the cage that were really detrimental to his career, you got to believe. And he came against the Leech and just looked not great. The speed was not there. The volume was there. Quite frankly, nothing was there. And if that same Ponzinibbio that shows up against the Leech shows up here against Baeza, I think Baeza probably does put him out. I think he probably does. It's just, I don't know, was it cage rust? I don't like writing fighters off of just one performance, but I don't know. I'll pick Baeza. He's 28 years old, 29 years old. He's on his way up. You're seeing a massive improvement each and every time in the prime of his career. I'll take Baeza. The money line's tempting. It is. Minus 115 is really tempting. If it got to plus money, I might take that shot, but I just don't know what Ponzinibbio is going to show up. So I see a lot of people taking a shot on Ponzi. Understandable, because, if the Ponzi of old, if the Ponzi of 2018 shows up, he probably does, walk through Baeza. It's just, is it that same Ponzinibbio? And I'm personally leaning towards no, but we'll see. But I don't want to invest money on this fight. Speaking of not wanting to invest money, Roman Dalitzy going against Staropoli. Staropoli is another dog that people are on. It seems like, there's these dogs that everybody's just betting this week, and Staropoli is definitely one of them. I get it. I guess in a way you want to fade Dalitzy. He has no fight IQ. He has no cardio, so I get that. Staropoli's going to have a striking advantage. I just think the size is going to be a huge factor in this fight. Dalitzy, somebody that's fought at 205 basically his entire career, came down to 185 his last fight against Giles. Dalitzy is somebody that has even fought at heavyweight before. I believe in his MMA debut, he debuted at heavyweight. And then you have Staropoli, who's coming up a weight class as well. You saw the weigh-ins, massive size difference. I think Dalitzy does get this fight down to the mat. Staropoli's takedown defense on paper is not great. He was taken down 3 times by Muslim Salikhov, taken down a couple times by Tim Means as well. The Salikhov one really does worry me. Yes, he was able to pop back up, but will he be able to pop back up against the much bigger Roman Dalitzy? I lean towards no. But it seems like everybody's betting Staropoli. I guess you could do that. If you do want to fade Dalitzy, it's just you got to kind of look into the matchup. And I think the size is like a crazy factor that you really can't ignore. Anyway, big pass. I want nothing to do with this fight. I want nothing to do with it. I'm picking Dalitzy, but man, I'm not betting that guy ever. Marcin Tybura going against Walt Harris. Yeah, this is interesting. Very interesting fight. Very, very interesting fight because Walt Harris has that X factor, and that X factor is the power. 100% knockout rate for Walt Harris. 100%. And Tybura has been knocked out not once, not twice, not 3 times. 4 times he's been knocked out. The chin is not there. The striking defense is not there. And, Walt Harris, he's live for a knockout here. I'm picking Marcin Tybura because I think he's the more well-rounded fighter. I think he has the better cardio. I think he has the better output. I think he has, the ground game to get this fight down to the mat. It's just, like I said, Walt Harris, is live for a knockout. He really is. So there's times where you pick a certain fighter, but you take a look at the other side and there's some extreme value. And I saw some extreme value in some of these props, and I took some shots here. So Walt Harris has never officially won by decision. I know there was an Arlovsky fight there. And Walt Harris has never won. I don't believe in the 3rd round either. I think all of his wins have, first of all came by knockout. I think all of his wins have came in either the 1st or 2nd round as well. So yeah, I think there's a great chance that Walt Harris can finish this fight within the first 2 rounds. And then I take a look at the props, and man, FanDuel Sportsbook has Walt Harris wins by round 1 KO plus 650, which, that's probably off. So I put a half unit on that. And then I saw Walt Harris wins in by TKO round 2 plus 1,200. I put half a unit on that. I think both those are likely, or at least way more likely than the line does indicate there. I'd love to hit the 2nd round prop. As far as a pick, I'll go Tybura, but man, I think that those lines are quite off. So I did take a shot on the Harris 1st and 2nd round knockout props there. I was thinking about the under, but I think the under, is, more reliant on Harris getting that finish. I don't see Tybura getting a finish, at least early. Maybe he gets like a 3rd round finish, but I see it more of probably a Tybura decision, maybe like a late 3rd round finish. So I think those 1st and 2nd round knockout props are something to look at, at least if the lines are still around where they're at, like plus 650 for my 1st round knockout of Harris. Like that's something that could definitely potentially happen. And then the main event here, I like Sakai as far as picking a winner. You take a look at the size advantage, and at the weigh-ins, it was just crazy. I was not expecting that. I'm not a big fan of Rosenstruck. I was a big Rosenstruck guy in the past when he fought, Alan Crowder, Arlovsky, Albini, guys like that. But I think he is getting a little bit overrated. Honestly surprised to see him as a favorite here. Just looking at the skill sets, yes, he has a ton of power, but he doesn't have a ton of volume. Sakai is going to have the volume, the pressure, and a ton more volume. So I think Rozenstruik's mostly reliant on the knockout. If you like Rozenstruik, probably bet the knockout. But either way, I'm not betting either side here. I like some props in this fight. I think everybody is on that over 1.5. I've seen it be probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular play on the slate, is going to be the over 1.5. I got it early in the week. I got it at minus 142, 1.5 units on it. It got smashed, man. I mean, minus 215 now. I saw it on one book. It was like minus 235 for that over, so I'm glad to get on early. But anywhere, better than minus 190, minus 200, I'd take a shot there for sure. But yeah, 1.5 units on that. And what I also did was I saw a line that I thought was off. It's going to be the fight ends in an NKO, TKO, minus 192 units on that. I think there's going to be a knockout. I think it does come in later. If there's no knockout, if this does go the distance, I think Sakai wins by decision, which is plus 380. But it's hard seeing this fight not ending inside the distance at some point with, questionable gas tanks on both sides, especially Sakai. The power of both guys, especially on Rozenstruik. I can see a knockout coming, but hopefully it does come later in the fight. So the perfect scenario for me would be there's a knockout in rounds 3, 4, 5, or late in the second round, past that 1.5 round mark. The worst case scenario is one of those hit, whether it's a first round knockout or this fight goes to distance, which is Sakai decision. But yeah, I'd like there to be like a third, fourth, or fifth round knockout. That'd be the money. Both those would hit. But yeah, lots of action. I'm feeling good about the spots. Feeling good about some of the fights I passed on. Sometimes the best bet to make is passing on some of these fights. And I just don't really see the need to bet on, the Tom Breese fight or, the Dalitzy fight, fights like that. They're just seem like traps to me. So my bets I have Montana De La Rosa minus 200, 2 units. Mason Jones minus 245, 3.5 units. My biggest play on the year. I need this one to hit. Yusuf Zalal underdog shot plus 188, 1 unit on it. Rozenstruik Sakai over 1.5 rounds minus 142, 1.5 units. Rozenstruik Sakai fight ends in KO minus 192 units. Walt Harris wins in round 1 by KO plus 650, half a unit. Walt Harris wins in round 2 by KO plus 1200, half a unit. Trinaldo Salikhov fight goes to decision plus 142, 1 unit. And then the parlay, Leon Edwards parlayed with Dusko Todorovic, Gregory Rodriguez. Fight doesn't go to decision, minus 150, 1.5 units. So yeah, feeling pretty good about this week. Hopefully it's a successful card. Last week or 2 weeks ago was pretty good. Hopefully keep it rolling here. If you have any questions, you guys know where to reach me. Twitter, DFS_numbers. Hit me up on the Discord as well. And good luck for UFC Vegas 20.